on-ramp, Introduction to HTML, the section on forms, and we're wrapping it up. All I want to do is finish some notes in a, by way of review. So what we need to do is we need to write our notes for the text area. We don't have it down here, and our notes for the date picker, and we also haven't written a note for the form method yet. So we've got to add those things. Okay, let's start. Okay, down here is our notes from the class. So forms start with a form tag, and I want to make sure that this part about the action attribute is indented, so it's a sub-bullet of the form tag because it's the action attribute of the form tag. So we need to move this guy, this close li. We're going to put it after this li, and then this li, which we're going to indent, we're also going to put it in its own UL. So it'll be its own unordered list. And this is where we're going to add our note about the method attribute of the form tag. So forms start with a form tag and end with a closed form tag that creates a form element, and all your various form controls like input elements and text areas are nested inside of that form element. So we have a form element, and that has an action attribute, which is optional. I showed it to you, but we didn't use it. Action attribute is where you put the URL that you want to submit your form to. And we did that. We just made a silly example and submitted our form to Google, which was not prepared to receive that information. So it didn't really do anything. But it's pretty normal to put a URL of a page on your website that is going to handle that information for you. All right, so that's what the action attribute does. Now let's put in our note about the method, close code. The method attribute lets you pick an HTTP verb. See below. Because down there at the bottom we've got a section about HTTP verbs, and it talks about the get verb and the post verb. So that's taken care of. Okay, so form tag, action, method, input tag. Let's add the date value of the type attribute. Creates a date picker. And let's see, many other type values are available. See the documentation, which we have linked above. We talked about that a bit. There's several different kinds of inputs you can do. All right, and the other thing is we had another element, and that was the text area element. Text area. Text area element creates a large input element for typing lots of text. Close li. Okay, so that's done. Let's save that and go see what it looks like. Okay, looks pretty good. Everything nested the way I thought it would, so that's good. Let's check and see if it's valid, and then I think we'll be done. So I'm going to Control A, Control C, and we'll go to our validator, .w3.org. Direct input, paste, check. Ooh, a warning. Okay. The date input type is not supported in all browsers. Please be sure to test and consider using a polyfill. Okay, so we sort of talked about that. I told you how if we use the date input type that IE11 doesn't like it, and that we just kind of we need to check and make sure that it's that IE11 treats it like a normal text box, so if people type their date in correctly, it'll work correctly. Consider a polyfill. What that means is you can go to different websites and find JavaScript and CSS snippets to embed in your website to make it fake it, so that if you're using JavaScript and CSS to create your date picker, then it doesn't matter if these old browsers natively support it. And with a polyfill, usually you set that up so that if the browser has a native implementation, it uses that, but if it doesn't, it uses the polyfill as a fallback. And the word polyfill, that's like that's polyester filler. That it's like spray foam, and that the idea there is that it's just kind of a fake way of filling in for what's missing. So that's a warning, but it's not an error, and we're not going to fix it. But it's really good to have this validator. Awesome. Okay. That is it for forms. In the next lesson, we'll talk some about where to go next. And I'll see you then.